Well, meanwhile, the European Union is potentially dealing with yet another corruption scandal. Federal prosecutors in Belgium arrested several individuals Thursday as a part of a probe linked to reports that the Chinese telecoms company Huawei bribed EU lawmakers. The federal prosecutor office said that the corrupt acts in question are believed to have taken place, quote, regularly and very discreetly from 2021 until now, taking various forms. Now, that included remuneration for adopting political positions or excessive gifts like food, travel, and even invitations to football matches. For more, we're going to speak now to our Brussels correspondent, Dave Keating. Hi there, Dave. So this sounds a bit like deja vu. After Qatargate, this would be the second major corruption scandal to hit the EU in less than 3 years. I mean, what does that mean about the Parliament's claims to have cracked down on corruption then?
Exactly. What's really striking about this is how similar it is to that Qatargate scandal from 2022, which is still not resolved, which is still working its way through the courts. So we had these 21 home raids this morning, including, we're told, the offices of Huawei in Brussels, which resulted in several arrests from those raids. One of the raids actually took place in Portugal. It's not really clear why in Portugal. The rest of the raids took place in Belgium. We're getting a mix of what the public prosecutor is telling us and then what Belgian media is reporting. So the public prosecutor is saying this involves remuneration for taking political positions, excessive gifts, in exchange for members of the European Parliament supporting adopting certain positions in the European Parliament. Now, Belgian media is reporting that it is Huawei at the center of this. And that would be very close to what happened in the Qatargate scandal, where it is alleged that the government of Qatar was giving MEPs money, gifts, this type of thing, in order for them to adopt positions favorable to Qatar. And what this is going to really point out here, if, as the public prosecutor has said, that this has been going on from 2021 until the present day, that means that this continued after the European Parliament said it had cracked down on this. In 2023, the European Parliament adopted new rules where MEPs had to declare all kinds of gifts, all kinds of remuneration. It was supposed to bring more of this into the spotlight so MEPs wouldn't be able to get away with this. That doesn't seem to have worked because it was the Belgian authorities that caught this, not the European Parliament itself. So we'll see how this holds out. We're still getting more information about this. One thing that is very interesting as well is that this is again targeting the European Parliament, the weakest of the EU's three institutions. And it has a lot of people wondering why these foreign entities would be targeting the European Parliament when they don't seem to be getting much in return. There's no concrete case that can be identified here where actual legislation or a policy was adopted as a result of this. It usually seems to be more about reputation laundering in the European Parliament, with MEPs just making speeches in favor, maybe casting a vote. But it's interesting that this hasn't touched the EU's other more powerful institutions yet.
Now, Dave, this all comes at a pivotal time as well for EU-China relations, especially as some officials have been pushing for closer ties to Beijing as those questions continue to swirl about Washington's reliability under Donald Trump.
Exactly. Yeah, this is coming as there are some voices in the European Union saying that the EU needs to de-risk its relationship with Washington, which was the word always used for the EU's relationship with China. That's what Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has pursued. And some are even saying that the EU should have a pivot toward China, that in lessening its reliance on Washington, it should be more open to China, and that some of the policies that have been adopted over the past years, adopting more skepticism toward China, which were done under pressure from the US, should now be walked back. Now, if it's seen that this is coming from a Chinese company, it could present complications for those who are advocating that, or it could just present a reminder of the way China likes to operate. Now, there's no suggestion here that the Chinese government is involved in this yet, but of course, Huawei is a company with deep connections to the Chinese government. Again, we still don't have all the information here and to know exactly what Huawei is alleged to have done, if anything. But overall, it would cause more caution towards China at a time when some are suggesting that the EU's frosty hastiness toward China should be thawing in reaction to the worsening relations with the United States.